Hello, my name is Sean Perryman. In this tutorial, we learn about autosum and its many wonderful features such as finding the total or the sum, finding the average, finding the min or the lowest number, finding the max or the highest number, or finding the count, which is finding the amount of numbers in a particular range of cells. Now, as you can see, we have 3 rows of numbers, and not only will we be finding these statistics, these stats going across, but we're also going to be finding stats going down as well. So first thing we need to do is find out where we actually going to place our answer, but first we're going to find these stats going down. So we're going to place our answer, we're going to start with our total and place our answer in cell reference B8. So now that we realize where we're going to place our answer, we need to activate the autosum feature. By doing so, we need to go to our Home tab, to our Editing group, to our autosum button. And if you place your cursor over the autosum button, we have what is called a screen tip feature, which gives you a brief description of what the function's about. And also you can see there's a drop down arrow, which means there are more options to choose from. So if we click on it, we'll see over here we can find the sum, we can find the average, we can find the count number, we can find the min, we can find the max, as well as more functions. But again, in this example, we're going to find the sum first. So we click on it. Now, one of the great features about Excel, it automatically assumes the range of cells that we want to choose from. So in this example, we are going to choose the range from B2 through B7. And as you can see, it has a dancing ants around it, so that lets us know that is the range that's going to be for this particular function. And if you read it, the particular function says equals sum, open parentheses, B2 colon B7 close parentheses. So that's the proper way of creating a formula. And as you can see, it starts out with the equal sign. So to confirm that's the particular range that we want, we're going to either hit enter on our keyboard, or we're going to hit enter on our formula bar, which is right here. I'm going to use that option. So as you can see, when we press enter, it says we see a number there, and we see the number 805. So based upon, if we click back in this cell, it has the reading of equal sum, open parentheses, B2 colon B7 close parentheses. Basically, it's saying that we're going to add up any number that's in a particular range of cells from B2 through B7. So just to see if this is correct, we can pull up our calculator and see if that's correct. So we take 25 plus 85 plus 36 plus 54 plus 5 plus 600 and hit enter. As you can see, our sum is a hit 805 based upon that particular range. So next we're going to find the average. So we're going to click in our cell reference, which is B9, because that's where we want to place our answer. Then we're going to go from our Home tab to our Editing group to our autosum button, an option, click on average. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Excel automatically assumes the range of numbers that you want, but per this example, we're using the range B2 through B7. But as you can see, it's including B8. And as I mentioned, the reason why it does that because Excel automatically assumes that's the range that we want because it has a number in that cell as well. So to pick the range that we want, we can actually highlight the range that we want to actually find the average of. So I'm going to highlight B2 through B7. So now we have the range that we want to find the average. Not only is it highlighted, it has the dancing ants around it, but it's also in our formula as well as in the active cell. So we're just going to press enter to confirm. I'm going clicking on the check mark. And as you can see, we have a number of 134.167. So let's see if that average is correct. So again, to find the average, we have the sum divided by how many numbers there are. So we already have our sum, which is 805. So we're going to divide by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We divide by 6, hit enter. And sure enough, we have the answer 134.16666666667. And with Excel, it does limit these 4 spaces as we want. So again, we don't have to see all those 666. So it just rounds it out for us. Now we're going to find the min, or the lowest number based upon a particular range. So again, to activate the min function, we click on our home cell, editing group, click on the drop down menu, click on min, and as you can see, it not only includes the range that we want, but it also includes the range that we don't want. So again, as I mentioned, we can highlight the range of cells that we want, or we can alter the formula in the formula bar or in the active cell. So let's actually do it in the formula bar. So as you can see, it takes the range from B2 colon B9, but we want B7. So let's change that 9 to 7. I can place my cursor between the 9 and the 7, delete the 9 and add the 7. And as you can see, it updates the range from B2 through B7 because it has, as you can see, it has the blue line around it. So again, that's the range that we want. And this time I'm going to press enter on my keyboard to confirm. So as we can see, we have an answer of 5. So based upon this formula, the lowest number of the range of B2 through B7 is 5. So we highlight that range, so we see this is the range, and as we can see, based upon that range, the lowest number is 5. So let's find the max or the highest number. And before we even get started, we already know, based upon the range that we're using, is the highest number in that range is 600. So let's see if we can correct. And also, before we even activate the max formula, what range do you think is going to select? If you said B2 through B10, well, let's see if you're right. So again, I have the active cell or cell reference that I want to place my answer, which is B11. Again, I'm going to activate the max range option. And sure enough, it's selecting the range B2 through B10, but we want B2 through B7, so I'm going to re-highlight. Then now we have the range that we want. I'm going to hit enter on my keyboard. And as you can see, 600 is the result of that particular function. And as we said before we even got started, we know that the highest number based upon that range is 600, so we're correct. Now we're going to find the count, or the amount of numbers in a particular range. So again, I'm going to click on the autosum option, drop down arrow, click on count numbers, and I'm going to select the range that I want, which is this. I'm going to press enter. And as you can see, based upon the range that we selected, we have 6 numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we are correct. So we have 6 numbers based upon the range that we chose for B2 through B7. So now we're going to find these answers for row 2 as well as row 3. Now, to save time and effort, we're going to use a feature that's called autofill. And what autofill does is it takes a default function and it can copy and paste it into other cells adjacent to it. So basically what I'm saying is we're going to take this formula in cell B8 and we're going to copy it into C8, D8, but there's going to be a particular change. Instead of having the range B2 colon B7, we're going to have C2 through C7, and then the next one over is D2 through D7. So basically what it's doing is it's taking the initial function or format, as I would like to say, and is going to copy that format over to the adjacent cells that we want to copy it to. But again, it's just going to make some minor changes. So again, the way we do that is, again, we select the active cell that has the current function, and we're going to go to the bottom right hand corner of that cell that has the little square, which this is the little square, and then we're going to place our cursor over until it turns into a black cross. So as you can see, it does that. So I'm going to hold down my left click and drag across, and I'm going to stop it there and I'm going to let it go. And as you can see, it had some resulting answers in these particular cells that we use the autofill function. So let's just do a little analyzation of what just happened. So as I mentioned, in the initial cell we have equal sum, and we have a particular range that we're going. So the range that we want is B2 to B7, and we're trying to find the sum. So again, if I just wanted to actually look at it in row 2, we're going to follow pretty much the same pattern. So we're going to keep the rows 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, but we're going to change columns. Because again, like I said, we're keeping the rows, but we're changing columns. Again, we're going to keep the rows 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with different columns. So let's actually look at the formula in the cell that we use to autofill. So we're clicking this particular active cell, C8, and as you can see in the formula, it has equal sum C2 colon C7. It's just like this one, but the only thing that changes was the column. So as you can see, this is B2 colon B7, this is C2 through C7, and this is D2 colon D7. So again, as I mentioned, autofill keeps a general format for you, and then just pretty much we're copying the format and pasting it. But again, but certain things will change because again, our columns are going to change, but our rows are going to stay the same. So let's use the autofill for average. So again, we're going to select the active cell where the formula is. In this case, it's B8. And we're going to use the autofill function to fill in the rest of these two cells. So again, we're going to grab the bottom right hand corner, hold down the left click, drag over across, and we're going to let it go. And as you can see, it has pre-filling answers for us. So then we click in the initial cell. It says equal average B2 colon B7. So if we click in this cell, it says equal average C2 C7 equal average D2 D7. So again, it's copying a particular format in the original cell that we use autofill for. So again, the equal stays the same, the function that we're using stays the same, the column schema changes, but the row number stays the same. So again, as you can see, the pattern for all three cells. So let's use the min, or finding the lowest number. Again, we highlight the active cell, place our cursor at the bottom right hand corner until it turns into that cross, hold down the left click and drag across, let go, and it has a resulting answer for us. So the minimum or the lowest number based upon the range C2 through C7 is 2, and as we just highlight just to have it stand out, as we can see, 2 is the lowest number based upon that range. And if we look at the next range of numbers, we'll see that 43 is the lowest number based upon that range. So let's use the autofill feature to populate the rest of the cells. So we'll find the max or the highest number, drag across. And as we can see, based upon this range, 98 is the highest number. Based upon this range, 2000 is the highest number. And let's find the count. So based upon this particular range, we have 6 numbers. Now, although we highlighted 6, we have our count is 5. But although we've highlighted 6 cells, but of those 6 cells, 5 of them have numbers, so therefore the count is 5. So we're not counting how many cells we are highlighting, but we're counting how many cells we have highlighted that has numbers in them. So based upon that, we have 5 numbers based upon the 6 cells that we highlighted. And as you can see in the last example, we highlight this range of 6 numbers based upon that range. Then we can look at our formula, so you can count C2 colon C7, D2 colon D7. Now we're going to find these same stats like total, average, min, max, and count going across. So based upon, we're going to use these numbers going across, and we're going to find the total, average, min, max, and count. Then same thing for these numbers, we're going to find these stats. Same for these numbers, we're going to find these stats. Based upon these numbers, we're going to find these stats. And based upon these numbers, we're going to go find these stats. And lastly, these numbers right here, we're going to find these stats. So again, we're going to select our active cell. In this case, E2, and we're going to find the auto sum or the total. Hit the arrow, hit the sum. Now I know it's kind of blocking it, but you can see it in your formula bar which range that's going to pick. It says equal sum B2 colon D2. So again, it's B2, C2, and D2. We're going to hit enter to confirm. And as you can see, this particular range of cells, the total is 2,103. Now again, we can still use our autofill feature to do the same thing to find the totals. So again, I'm going to highlight my active cell, go to the bottom right hand corner of the cell until it turns to that cross, hold down the left click and then we're going to drag down, and then we're going to let go. And as you can see, it adds up the numbers for us. Now we have to make a mental note of something. Now look at the formula in this one. We say equal sum B2 colon D2. Now as we mentioned, as you remember, when we used the autofill feature for this particular range of cells down here, as we can see, the column changes, but the row stays the same. So as you can see, that's the pattern that we have. But when we're going down, again, we have B2 colon D2. Let's go to the next cell going down. We have B3 colon D3. We have B4 colon D4. Now you can see the pattern is the column in this instance stays the same. B, C, and D stays the same, but the row changes. So again, B, D, we have 2. B3, now we have row 3. We have B and D, but row 4. B and D, row 5. B and D, row 6. B and D, row 7. So as you can see, columns stays the same, but the row changes. Because again, we're still going, again, like I said, we're still using the same columns, but we're going different rows. So again, you just have to look at it and just really see the pattern and understand the science behind it. So now let's find the average. So again, as we mentioned, based upon Excel trying to help us out, not only is going to include these set of numbers, but it's also going to include this number as well. So again, we need to change that. So let's find the average. Click on average. Now, as you can see, it's blocking and you can't really see it, but you kind of see the dancing ants around the cell that has the total answer, but you can see it in your formula bar as well. So it has equal average B2 colon E2, but again, we want B2 through D2, and we're going to hit enter to confirm. And again, we're going to use our autofill method to populate the rest of the answers. Drag down. And as you can see, it populates the answers for it, and it does it in a faster way instead of actually plugging the formula in each individual cell. So let's find the min, or the lowest number. Click on this, and then click on min. And again, we want to adjust our range because we want this range. We're going to hit enter, and we're going to use a fill handle to populate the rest of the numbers, and let go. And we click anywhere to deselect them. As you can see, give us the lowest number based upon the range that we're looking for. Now let's find the max. Yeah, I'm going to change that range. All right, use our fill handle to populate the rest of the answers. Now we're going to find the count. Now you see how fast that was? Instead of actually just plugging in the formula in each individual cell, it pretty much helps us do a little bit faster and does recognize the pattern. Therefore, it helps us to again accomplish our to find these stats a little bit faster. Now let's just say, for instance, you didn't really want to use autosum and you want to find these stats such as the total, the average, the min or the lowest number, the max or the highest number, the count, or the amount of numbers in a particular range. So let's highlight a range of cells. So let's highlight this particular range. And as you can see, we have these stats that we created. Now, if you go down to your customizable status bar, you will see those same answers, which is right here. So as you can see, we have the average, we have the count, we have the min, we have the max, we have the sum. And as you can see, that matches up with our answers here. And so as you can see, the average is 134.166667, or it rounds out for you. You see the count is 6, which is correct. We see the min, or the lowest number, which is 5, which is correct. We also see the max, which is 600, which is correct. And we see the sum, which is 805, which is correct. So again, let's select this particular range of cells. And as you can see, these stats right down here matches up with these stats here. And we can see the same thing here as well. Those stats matches up with these stats here. So now let's go across. So again, we just go right here. And as you can see, the average, count, min, max, sum matches up here. And as you can see, the same thing here. Same thing here. Same thing here. The same thing here. And lastly, the same thing here. Now let's say, for instance, you didn't want to see all these stats. You didn't want to see the minimum or the max. You can go down to your customized stat bar and then right click on it. And as you can see, you see the different options there that we were talking about. The average, you can see the count, you can see the min, the max, the sum. you can see these particular stats. And say, for instance, you didn't want to see the min or the max, so you can just uncheck the min by just clicking on it once. And we didn't want to see the max, so we just click on it once. And then we just click anywhere to remove that status bar. And as you can see, we only see the average, the count, and the sum based upon the range that we have selected. But if we wanted to bring it back, again, we just right click on it again, and then click on min, and then we click on max, and then just click anywhere to let that disappear. And as you can see, the min and the max have returned. So now we can see the average, the count, the min, the max, and the sum. So again, let's do a different range. So we do this particular range. And again, we can see the average, we can see the count, we can see the min, we can see the max, and we can see the sum. Now also another tool or feature that Excel is good at doing is good at updating information when information changes. So if I was changing any of these numbers based upon our range, we don't have to redo our function if we don't want to, but if we can, it'll automatically update forward. So again, if I was to change this number right here, 36 to, I don't know, 105. Well, let's use 105. So I type that in. I can either click on the enter option here on the formula bar, or I can press enter on my keyboard. I just place it here, click it here. So as you can see, the total is going to change because again, we change our set of numbers. And of course, the average is going to change because again, it adds up the numbers divided by how many numbers that we have. Now, seeing as that 105 was not the original, the lowest number, nor was it the original maximum number, then our min and max number will not change because again, it didn't affect that, nor our count will change because we didn't change the amount of numbers we had because we still have 6 numbers, although we changed the number. Now in this example right here, 2 is the minimal number. So if I change that 2 to 45, now as you can see, remember 2 was our lowest number, but now since 2 is not the lowest number, the next lowest number is 7. So therefore, not only did our total change, not only did our average change, but our min or our lowest number changed because 2 is not the lowest number, 7 is the lowest number. And also our max number did not change because the number that we went from 2 to 45, 45 is not the highest number, so therefore the maximum number is not going to change, nor did we not change the amount of numbers in our particular range. Now note, not only did it, I forgot to mention, not only did it change going down for our stats, but our stats change over here as well. So now our average change, our total change, our average change, of course, and based upon that range, 54 was, 45, I picked the wrong range. Our total change, our average change, of course. Now our min change because, like I said, because at that time 2 was the lowest number, but now the number that we changed to still was the lowest number, which is 45. So again, it updated for you. And of course, the max did not change, nor did the count change. Now let's go to row 3. So if I delete 2000, let's just say I just delete it. As you can see, our total changes, our average change, our min did not change, but our max changed because at that time 2000 was the highest number. So the next highest number in that particular group is 183. So again, it updated from 2000 to 83. And also remember that based upon our ranges, we had we had 6 numbers in that particular range. But since I deleted it, we only have 5 numbers. So again, so now our count has changed. It went from 6 to 5. And not only did our stats change going from top to bottom, but again, our stats from left to right change as well, because our total has been updated, our average has been updated. The minimum number will not change because at that time 2000 was not the minimum number, but 2000 was the highest number. So the next highest number based upon that range is 78. And remember, we had 3 numbers in that particular range, but since we deleted, now we have 2, so our count has changed. So again, Excel is a great tool for not only calculating, but automatically updating as well. Well, this concludes our lesson on autosum using the total or the sum, finding the average, finding the min or the lowest number, finding the max or the highest number, or finding the count or the amount of numbers based upon a particular range. I hope that you learned something. Also, if you wanted to learn more, just inbox me or comment on this particular tutorial. Let me know what you like about it, didn't like about it. Also, if there's anything in particular that you want to learn in Excel or other Microsoft products such as Word, PowerPoint, and Access. So also you can email me at computertrainme@yahoo.com. I can make that bold and bigger for you so you can actually see it. Then also, if you decide that you would like a one-on-one lesson, or if you want somebody else to learn, friend or family, or if your employer is interested in updating their employees on Excel or other Microsoft products, as I mentioned, Word, PowerPoint, or Access, please feel free to let me know and I'd be happy to help out. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy this tutorial.